Classical Conversations, Timeline, weeks 19 through 24, hand motions with explanations. All right, so we ended up with Darwin publishes The Origin of Species. So you did your monkey. And the next is Lincoln's War between the states. So we had the North coming down on the South, war between the states, and the South fell away, they lost. And then the next one is the reconstruction of the southern states, so bring your southern states back up. Now the next one is Dominion of Canada, and it was the British Dominion, so do Dominion of with Britain, and this is Canada, so Dominion of Canada. And the next one is Otto von Bismarck, so take your two hands because you have your Canada here. Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, like this. Do the eagle for Germany. Next is the Boers War, so we go from the eagle to a boar. Boers Wars in Africa, and the Spanish-American War. Next is the Progressive Era, and Australia becomes a Commonwealth. So they went from being a British colony to becoming a Commonwealth. So make your teacup and let it drop, and make your A for letting Australia stand alone. Next is the Mexican Revolution, and this is Mexico, like a sombrero. So Mexican, and you have your two fingers, so now you just do revolution. And you remember after the Mexican Revolution comes World War I, and President Wilson. So we make a W and we lay it over our heart for America, President Wilson. Next is take your W and make an L. Lenin in the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. So L for Lenin, and it's and the Bolshevik Revolution, but we did in the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. And then you take your two hands on your hips and do U.S. evangelist Billy Graham, because he is spreading the worldwide gospel. Then we do the modern period of the arts. So we do your freestyle of your arts, and make sure you do of the arts at the end. And then take your two hands doing your arts and do your Great Depression. And shake your hand for the New Deal. Okay, we'll take it. All right, after you have your two hands doing the Great Depression and the New Deal, you do World War II and Franklin D. Roosevelt. So take your two and make an R and put it over your heart for America. Next is Stalin. So take your R for Roosevelt and put it over your lip and do Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn Massacre. Then after that, you take your two fists and make your flag and do the United Nations formed. And then this is easy. You go from here to the Cold War. Then we do Gandhi, G for Gandhi, and India's independence. Good. Now you take your fist and you do Jewish state. This is a sign for Jewish state established. And then Mao and communist, pass out your pamphlets, communist victory in China. Now you take your Chinese flag and you do NATO, because that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now, since we just did some letters, we can do one more, the Korean War. And then we do Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, because what was closed to them became opened. Then now that we have our hands out here like this, we're going to fly for Jim and Elizabeth Elliot, E for Elliot, and they were missionaries to Ecuador. So that one's fun, Ecuador. Then the next one is the Antarctic Treaty. So down here for Antarctica, the A, Antarctic T, Treaty. And when you're here, do the Vietnam War. This one's fun. Then we do the U.S. astronauts walk on the moon. So freestyle your astronaut. Okay, and then we have the age of information. So I for information, bring it to your mind. The age of information and globalization, and it's circa 1970 to the present. This is today. And then we have Watergate and President Nixon. So make an N and put it over your heart for America and let him resign. President Nixon resigns. Then we have the fall of communism in Eastern Europe. The next one is take your E for Eastern Europe and do the European Union formed. So bring your two E's together and then make two A's. Apartheid, abolished in South Africa. So just like we did the Civil Rights Movement for Martin Luther King Jr., we're doing apartheid, abolished in South Africa, no longer separated. Then we're going to do 2000 AD, so you have your two A's out here, 2000 AD, 2080, and then make an 11 with your two hands up like this, 11, September 11th, and let your towers fall, 2001. And that is the end. So then we do rising tide of freedom, and then you can just freestyle your freedom because we're done with your timeline.
This is my
Timeline. This is my timeline. Great job.